that it not be like this kind of individualist effort. So yes, more power to that. The first thing I'd like to ask is, I guess, did anybody come here with an open mind today? Who came with an open mind? Who's ready to just kind of open it up? Good. That's important because I like to see this thing out of the context of some sort of kind of lecture, because I don't give a lecture. I see it as a conversation. I like to consider myself your peer. I like to consider myself someone who is with you in a terrible situation in the world today. Depending on how you see it. We might not see it the same way, but we'll see by the end of this conversation how we see it. I was going to ask if anybody had any kind of frequencies, any topic that was kind of thrown out there, but that I've seen how this thing was organized, I guess there's a few things that I should say about Dead Prez, and some of you may know about them, and some of you may not. We've been here before on this campus, and maybe before some of your time, and maybe some of your first time seeing Dead Prez. So I will belabor this process with like the history of Dead Prez and how we met and what the music is about. And I guess some of you may be here because you know what Dead Prez's music is about and what revolutionary culture and the role that hip-hop plays in revolutionary culture is. And that's why we're standing in front of you today. Because it's not just about the music that we are making, it is about how we reflect what's going on in our environment and put that inside the music so that it means something greater than music. I'll be remiss if I sat in front of you and claimed to only be a rapper. I'm definitely a student. I'm not only an artist, I'm a would-be revolutionary. What are you looking at? You can be that. You can actually be that. You don't have to have a job. Just a job. Your career can be a revolutionary, and that's what I am. Aside from rapping on the stage, which hopefully you'll get a glimpse of in this time. Basically, I started like this. Recently, we just coming from Nebraska. Before Red Rapids last night, which we played to a packed house, we were in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then I traveled to Omaha, Nebraska, which has become like a second or third home for me. I have a lot of homes. Not only because it's the birthplace of El Hajj and Lincoln Bass, but also because of kind of like how that community is juxtaposed. I mean, you have everything from the most right-wing kind of financial institution or in the way of Warren Buffett to like this really disparaged black community that's full of gangbangers ready to tear each other's heads off at any moment. And that to me is a great classroom. I met a particularly great leader, general, I call him a general, there many years ago who introduced me to the area and who introduced me to his work around restoring Malcolm X's name in Omaha, Nebraska. He developed the Malcolm X Foundation, and as a matter of fact, starting on the ground as a gangbanger, this brother went into prison and many years came out a revolutionary. And the reason why he was able to come out as a revolutionary is because when he went to prison for so many years, being the leader of a group called the Murdertown Gangsters, he met Mondo, Ed Rice, Mondo, now known as Mondo, and another brother named Poindexter. And these two particular people started the Nebraska chapter of the Black Panther Party. In the middle of this nation, the Black Panther Party had a significant role in changing the political terrain of what happened in the city of Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, and the surrounding areas. A lot of people don't know that this kind of movement was happening. But it's important that I'm here to tell you this, because if I don't tell you this, then pretty much the names of Mondo and Ed Poindexter will be forgotten, because what they would like is for these freedom fighters, because that's what they are, is to languish in American prisons until you forget their names and until they die and until there's no connection to the resistance, And that's really like how I want to begin this conversation, is to connect what we do to the kind of resistance that's happening, today. I also sat down recently with Mumia Abu Jamal, and who's recently, his situation has changed, fortunately. He's been retracted from out of the grips of death row, but now is sentenced to have a life behind bars for being a freedom fighter, which ain't right either. But I like talking to him too, because he helps me put the world into perspective. And many people will believe, because of his recent books and because of his political writings, that he be like this ideological monster, and we be talking political theory and strategy, but it's not the truth. The reality is, we talk about things like vampire movies. And he's totally enthralled with this culture of the vampire. He calls it the vampire empire. And what that means in the psyche of America, and why so much study is going into, the blood-sucking thing. I mean, it makes sense, the analogy, if you kind of look at it, it makes sense, But these are the conversations that I have with somebody who has dreads down to the floor, and every time you see him is in an orange jumpsuit and shackled hand and foot. A real human being. Revolutionaries, more than anything, I like to open the conversation up to the fact that the revolutionaries who I know are real human beings. My namesake, Dr. Mutulu Shakur, Tupac's stepfather, one of the leadership in the New York branch of the Black Panther Party, taught me how human it is to be a revolutionary more than anything. His role was to heal the so-called junkies who would be around Harlem, around the Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem. He would walk around in the morning times and gather the junkies and play Stevie Wonder music to them, and instead of giving them morphine, he would feed them revolutionary politics, and this would be his way to rehabilitate our African community, who was strung out on the heroin that the United States had pumped into our community after coming back from war, or while being at war in Vietnam. This is the Mutulu Shakur that people don't know about, and who I think is why I think he's so important today. So again, to connect us to the resistance. Today, more than ever, this country is in the deepest kind of crisis that we can name. In America, you've seen the type of exchange of wealth outside of the poor, black, middle class, and working class communities back into the hands of the ruling class that we've ever seen. America right now, last night I'm looking at the Kind of Niggas Network, CNN, and it's all right, we get it, right, y'all grown. And it ain't no secret, right, anyway. So, I'm looking at and actually America is applauding the fact that the unemployment rate is just below double digits. This is what America is applauding. It's appalling, actually. I'm talking about foreclosure, still, which is like the things that we cherish and what we own. It's our homes. It's where you grew up. It's your house. It's our hood. We're talking about the wiping out of the basic resource, the main resource that the African community calls home. You know what I mean? The biggest trade of wealth outside of our community since we've ever been here is happening right now. And the plethora of problems roll on and on and on and on. So, for me, I'm totally connected with the fact that under this kind of repression, there's no doubt that people are going to be up in arms and ready to do whatever it takes to change the situation in the world today. I know I am, and I know this is not new to people who have been trying to be resistant. So in the United States, you have what crops up as the Occupy movement. A social phenomenon. We can study phenomenon. Huey P. Newton told us to study phenomenon, and it's phenomenal what's happening with the Occupy movement in America. Why? Because Long time we've been resisting police brutality. Long time we've been resisting the fallacy in government policies. Long time we've been resisting bureaucracy. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. These problems are over 30 years old. But what's new is the urgency by which people are taking on these kind of questions today, and what we choose to do about it. Because in the ranks of the Occupy movement, it's not the same old kind of revolutionaries that you see from the 60s or who came from when you talk about me or people like myself. It's people like you who may have never been involved in any kind of organization, who may right now just be trying to fix your mind around what revolution meant and what meant something old in the past, but right now, revolution means to have a future. Because if you look out there right now, if and when you graduate out of here, what is your future actually, and what is it comprised of? So you fighting for a future.